You're going to buy a TV or need to find a vet for your new puppy or looking for the right hotel for your next vacation. So what do? You jump online and start searching, checking the reviews and ratings to help guide your decision. Whether it's a new pair of jeans or a neighborhood nail salon, we all rely on reviews and testimonials when shopping for products or services. But can you trust those reviews? I'm Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man, a contributing editor at Checkbook.org.
Welcome to Consumerpedia at Checkbook.org. We're the nonprofit that helps consumers select services, avoid trouble, and save money. Because we don't accept any advertising or take money from any business we recommend, you can rely on Checkbook.org to be completely independent and objective. Now, here's the host of Consumerpedia, America's consumer expert, the Consumer Man, Herb Weisbaum.
Just like everything else on the internet, reviews can be faked, and all too often they are. Some companies create their own glowing reviews or pay others to do it for them. Some post fake negative reviews to hurt the competition. In this episode, how companies create fake reviews, tips on how to spot them, plus a new federal rule designed to crack down on the growing problem. Up first, Jason Brown, the founder of Review Fraud, a company with a very simple mission statement: to find, identify, and expose businesses that are lying to the general public and taking advantage of consumers. Review Fraud lists thousands of businesses across the country suspected of having fake reviews. Jason is joining us today from Pasadena. Hello there.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here. Happy to speak about my favorite subject, online reviews.
Well, you've been in the search engine optimization industry for about 18 years now. What made you decide to start calling out companies that use bogus reviews?
Well, I kind of got a little bored one day. I had a colleague of mine say that a business showed up at her house over a negative review that she left on Yelp. I looked it up and found the two companies she left 1-star reviews for. And then when I found the business on Google, they had a 4.7 rating. And I realized that they were falsifying reviews. Unfortunately, our industry has completely perverted the ideology behind reviews. Reviews are feedback. It's our clients and customers telling us areas that we do well in and areas that we need to improve. And instead, what I see happen is a business gets a negative review, and then a company reaches out to them and says, hey, we can help you with your online reputation. And all they do is just put fake positive reviews to bury the negative. And it never works. I've seen businesses go out of business because they didn't address the negative feedback they're getting from their clients that was leading to the negative reviews. Instead, all they did was just post fake positive reviews.
So how are phony reviews created? Does a company just get the family to sit around the table and start posting reviews, or is it more sophisticated than that?
No, it's more sophisticated than that. So what we know is there's a bunch of shady marketers based out of India and Malaysia and Indonesia that are getting paid to sit there and create fake profiles and load up fake reviews for businesses. People can go do a Google search to buy fake reviews. They could go on Facebook swap groups and do review exchanges. There's all sorts of ways that people can do it. Usually what happens is a business starts out and they'll go, okay, you know what? I want my family and friends to leave us reviews so we can get a jump start. But there's sophisticated networks out there of people that are just buying and selling and trading online reviews.
So what's the name of your dog in the background?
Well, I've got Tina Turner. She just turned 4 this month. And then I've got Crystal Blue, who's standing on top of the couch. And then I've got Caitlin Clark, who's on the ottoman.
Well, you got to be a good guy if you like critters, so I appreciate that. So how does your company, Review Fraud, spot fake reviews?
It's very easy. I look for patterns because everybody's got to tell. So like right now, I'm looking at a nail salon up in Apple Valley, and they had 27 reviews posted within 3 weeks. And all the reviewers had only left 1 review and set all their profiles to private. Well, most people don't know how to make their profile online private. So when you see 27 reviews and they've only left 1 review and they're all set to private, that's my giveaway. And then the other 52 reviews that I looked at were all left 1 review and their profiles were public. That's your giveaway. Or if I look at a review profile and say they're reviewing 18 roofing contractors throughout the United States, well, that's not normal. Most people don't have 18 homes in 18 states. I look for those types of patterns, and it's easy for me to spot it because I've been doing it for, 7 years now.
I noticed that some of the fake reviews you spotted over the years have nice images of the reviewer, but in many cases, they're also bogus. Do you do a reverse search on the image to see if that's really just a PR shot that's been gone around the internet or whatever?
Oh, yeah. I've found celebrities, Abigail Breslin, the guy from Super Size Me, reporters, regular people. Yeah, they'll go steal it. Now what they've been doing is they're using AI to generate those images, and you can generate any photo you want.
So just because there's a photo with a review does not mean that's a legitimate person.
That's correct. It could be one of these farms out of India or Asia.
Jason, the big websites such as Amazon, Google, Meta, and Yelp say they're working hard to spot and remove fake reviews. For example, Amazon reports that it proactively blocked more than 250 million suspected fake reviews in 2023. Based on your experience, do you believe these sites are doing enough? Do they respond when you contact them about something you found?
No, not at all. Google is very slow. Yelp does a little bit of a better job. Meta doesn't even do anything. So Meta doesn't remove reviews or fake profiles. And I've reported a lot. It takes a lot of work to get Meta to do something. Meta did a whole sweep where they removed all these fakes, but they're still there. So I monitor a lot of these groups, and they just keep popping back up. So Meta doesn't do enough. Amazon knows there's issues. So no, they're not doing enough to police it and crack down, which is why the FTC came up with this new rule so they have more teeth to go after businesses that are falsifying reviews.
And we're going to talk to the FTC in just a minute. How do you deal with reviews when you go online to check out a product or service? What do you do?
I look at the 5-star reviews to see if they're actually legit, and then I start looking at the 1-star reviews to see, what people's pain points are. But I really hone in on the 3-star reviews. People that are going to be super, super happy are going to leave a 5-star. People that are going to be super upset are going to leave a 1-star review. But if you start looking at the 3-star reviews, you can get a better sense of what the company is really doing and what's going on there. But if I see like recurring themes that they don't respect their customers or they don't respond to their customers, then I'll go to the next business. I'm not going to do it.
How can our listeners use your website, reviewfraud.org?
Sure, they can come to me and report their competitors or businesses that they suspect are falsifying reviews. And then I'll do an investigation into it and work with the platforms to get the reviews taken down. I also work with the FTC. I work with the local news stations, to expose these bad businesses. Or if they just want to come and read information on how to protect themselves, because there's a lot of fraud online.
Jason Brown, founder of Review Fraud. Keep up the good work, and thanks for spending time with us today.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I always love talking about online reviews and protecting consumers. So I love the work that you guys are doing.
A new federal rule is designed to reduce the volume of phony reviews and testimonials. We're going to talk to the Federal Trade Commission about that next. I'm Herb Weisbaum, and this is Consumerpedia, powered by Checkbook.org.
No need to worry about fake reviews from Checkbook, because Checkbook's ratings are based on subscriber feedback. We have trusted ratings for a variety of service providers, including electricians, plumbers, dentists, eyewear stores, and more. So if you live in or around one of these 7 cities, Boston, Chicago, Philadelphia, Seattle, San Francisco, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Washington, D.C., and haven't joined Checkbook yet, check us out. Get a free 30-day subscription to all our ratings by going to checkbook.org/Consumerpedia.
No one knows for sure what percentage of online reviews are bogus, but according to the website FakeSpot, it's 30 to 40%. All of this deception makes it hard for you to get objective information about the products and services you plan to buy. Of course, fake reviews have always been illegal. It's an unfair and deceptive practice. But the Federal Trade Commission recently issued new rules that make it very clear what is prohibited and the stiff financial consequences for breaking the rules. Let's talk about that with Michael Ostheimer, a senior attorney in the Federal Trade Commission's Advertising Practices Division. He worked on the new fake review rules. So I've dealt with the FTC long enough to know that this agency doesn't come up with rules willy-nilly. You issue them when you become aware of serious problems in the marketplace. So what's happening in regard to fake testimonials and reviews that spurred the commission to create this rule?
People often rely upon reviews and testimonials, and it's hard to tell whether they're fake or false or manipulated. It's very difficult for the average consumer to tell. And we saw that there was abundance of fake and false reviews and other egregious review practices.
And you believe this is distorting the marketplace?
Yes, we believe it's distorting the marketplace, and we thought it was appropriate to address it by enacting a rule.
So this new rule is designed to try to clean up the marketplace, and one of the key provisions seems fairly obvious. No fake or false reviews or testimonials. Maybe you can give a few examples of the ways reviews can be faked.
We've brought cases against companies that made up fake consumer testimonials. For example, in a case called Welco, a company made deceptive claims about its television antennas and has simply copied the testimonials from its competitors' websites. The rule prohibits creating, writing, selling reviews or testimonials. I mean, that could be a company that sells fake consumer reviews or that writes fake consumer reviews for its own products. The rule could also apply to a business that makes up celebrity testimonials. For example, last year, scammers were using fake Shark Tank celebrity testimonials to sell their products. It could also apply to a paid influencer who lies about having used a product or service or about their experience with it. In such cases, the influencer could be liable. Provision will also prohibit testimonials that they know or should know are false. For example, a couple years ago, we brought a case against Google involving iHeartRadio DJs who recorded scripted ads talking about their use of a Google Pixel 4 phone that they'd never used. When the ads were first recorded, the phones hadn't even been released yet. Furthermore, when DJs asked for the phones so they could actually use them and say they used them, Google said no. Finally, the provision about fake and false reviews also prohibits businesses from buying consumer reviews that they know or should know are fake or false, and prohibits them from procuring consumer reviews from certain company insiders for posting on third-party sites when the business knows that they are fake or false. We've brought multiple cases like that. In a case against Sunday Riley Cosmetics, the CEO asked her staff to set up multiple fake accounts to write reviews of their products on the Sephora website.
This rule is incredibly extensive, and I want to go over a few of the key provisions. You said that there are no buying reviews, and that includes positive or negative reviews. Why would someone want to buy negative reviews?
Because someone might want to have negative reviews of their competitor. For example, they might pay someone to write a 1-star review of their competitor on Google or on Yelp.
The new rule also prohibits suppressing reviews. Clearly, this skews the marketplace. How's the commission dealing with this?
Well, there's two different types of suppression the rule talks about. One would be suppression on a company's own website. The rule prohibits a business from misrepresenting that the reviews on a portion of its website dedicated to receiving and displaying reviews represent most or all of the reviews submitted. For example, a company could set its review management program to only post 4 or 5-star reviews. That's what a fast fashion company called Fashion Nova once did. And any reviews that were less than 4 stars just sat in purgatory and consumers didn't see them. So people going to the website only saw 4 and 5-star reviews. That's one type of review suppression. The other type of review suppression usually involves third-party websites where someone could go to people who posted reviews on third-party websites such as Yelp or Google or TripAdvisor and threaten them. The rule prohibits businesses from using unfounded or groundless legal threats, physical threats, intimidation, or certain false public accusations to prevent the posting or cause the removal of all or part of a consumer review.
So the goal here is to make sure that if you're going to post reviews, or if reviews are posted somewhere else, people get the true picture of what the reviewers thought about the product or service.
Absolutely.
And if you're going to accept reviews on your website, you've got to accept all reviews, the good and the bad.
Well, you have to treat the reviews that are good and bad equally. There are legitimate, okay reasons for not posting certain reviews. For example, the reviews could contain content that's defamatory, harassing, obscene, vulgar, sexually explicit. And all of those reasons might be fine for not posting certain reviews, but you need to treat reviews that are positive and negative equally, and you can't just single out negative reviews for suppression.
Could you explain to me the part of the rule that says no misrepresenting the popularity on social media through followers or views generated by a bot?
Consumers and other people make decisions based upon people's influence, these metrics. They make decisions whether to hire someone, whether to invest with a business, whether to purchase, whether to listen to music based on whether a person or a song has lots of followers, has lots of likes, or lots of listens, and it misleads people. So basically, the rule prohibits either buying or selling fake indicators generated by bots, by hijacked accounts, or that otherwise do not reflect a real individual's or entities' activities or opinions.
So these are social media influencers who buy or use bots to drive up the people that are supposedly following them, when in fact they don't have that much influence?
It's not limited to influencers. I mean, somebody who's a musician might buy plays of their song to make it look like their song is more popular. A motivational speaker might buy followers to make it look like they're more popular. A lawyer might buy LinkedIn connections to make themselves look like they have better business connections and connections in the real world.
So if a social media influencer or celebrity is paid to provide a testimonial, as we know many are, does the FTC require disclosure? And how prominent or how obvious must that disclosure be?
Sure, that's not covered by the rule, But social media influencer, celebrity, or individual who's paid to provide a testimonial should disclose the payment if a significant proportion of consumers wouldn't expect the payment, and if knowing about it would cause them to give the testimonial less weight or credibility. If a disclosure is necessary, it should be clear and conspicuous, meaning that it's hard for people to miss it and easy for people to see it and understand it. Depending on the circumstances, they might be able to use a disclosure like hashtag ad or sponsored by XYZ company, but it would really depend upon the circumstances.
So getting back to the rule, what sort of penalties are involved for violations?
The penalties can be up to $51,744 per violation.
Fairly significant.
That is significant. Yes, it can add up quickly.
Michael Ostheimer is with the Advertising Practices Division of the Federal Trade Commission. Michael, thank you for spending time with us today.
Thank you.
You'll find a link to the FTC's new reviews and testimonial rule in the show notes. You know, there are some things you can do to spot fake reviews. We'll share some of those tips straight ahead. I'm Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man, and you're listening to Consumerpedia, powered by Checkbook.org.
Consumerpedia Fast Facts. According to a survey by Power Reviews, a business software development company, most shoppers, 92%, submit reviews at least once every 6 months. 60% write multiple reviews each month. The top 3 motivations for submitting ratings and reviews are a positive experience, receiving free product samples, and a negative experience. Higher star ratings significantly impact product sales. Research by McKinsey & Company finds products with 3 or 4 stars have 3 times higher sales than similar products with only 1 star.
The FTC's new rules should help clean up the marketplace, but it won't stop all fake reviews and testimonials. Glowing reviews move merchandise, so it's fair to assume that some companies and fraudsters will continue to create fake reviews and testimonials. And because of AI, it's not always easy to spot them, but there are some things you can do. Our good friend Teresa Murray, the consumer watchdog at US PIRG, is here to explain. Hi there, Teresa. How's everything in Cleveland?
Hello, Herb. Cold.
Just as we'd expected. It's not always easy to spot the fake review, but sometimes you can sort of figure it out. And I'm going to go over 5 tips that you have. Tip number 1 is look at the dates of the reviews. How's that work?
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking at a product and you're looking at the reviews and there's this flurry of reviews in a very short period of time, maybe the product's been available for 3 years, 5 years, and there's just been this flood all of a sudden in a short period, then that might raise a flag. It might seem like one person or one entity is producing all of those fake reviews and just uploading them to the website. With AI, who knows how these reviews might be getting written?
So if a product's been on the market for a while and you see reviews scattered throughout time as you would expect it to be, that's a sign that they might be more reliable than a whole bunch all posted at the same time or within the same time frame.
Yes, absolutely. If there was a whole bunch that were posted in the last month or so for a product that's existed for 5 years, that would arouse suspicion.
Your second tip is watch out for reviews that use similar language, like maybe it's cut and paste or something like that.
Yes, exactly. I mean, sometimes some companies have been accused of paying people or enlisting their friends and relatives and neighbors to post reviews, but they don't get creative enough to actually change the language up a little bit. So you might see very similar language repeated on review after review after review, and that is a red flag.
Tip number 3, see whether the reviewer's purchase was verified. Can you explain that?
Sure. I mean, not every website does this, but those that do, they will often say whether it was a verified purchase and when the purchase was. And if you're seeing a bunch of reviews that it doesn't say whether or not the person actually bought the product or used the service, then that might mean it's not legitimate. It's not a guarantee that just because XYZ company says that Bob Smith is a verified purchase, that's actually true.
Tip number 4 is beware of reviews that sound too good.
This kind of varies. I mean, if you visited a resort or you bought a new piece of technology or a new pair of tennis shoes, you might say, hey, these shoes, this thing that I bought, this is so much better than the last thing I bought. This is great. It works well. It charges easily. It's, the shoes are comfortable. You may not necessarily write a long enough review to offer some critiques.
Mm-hmm.
But say if you go to an all-inclusive resort you're probably going to say, okay, the staff was really polite, the rooms were clean, the activities were great, but sometimes the food was cold. So you might find something that you wouldn't give an A++ rating to. If it was just one review that was that way, that was just glowing with nothing negative, that wouldn't necessarily by itself be a reason for concern. But if all you're seeing are just these gushing over the top reviews and nobody has anything bad to say, then you might be suspicious.
And not so long ago, if these reviews were written by AI, it might stick out because of the skewed language or whatever, but AI models have gotten so good now, you may not be able to spot if they write something in typical English or whatever.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's entering a whole new land for us because you can't tell.
And tip number 5 you have, and this is maybe the most important one, beware of social media reviews.
Yes, a lot of people, especially younger people, they just put too much stock in what they see on social media, especially like Instagram and TikTok. And you have sometimes celebrities or people who are actually paid to promote these products. And I mean, a lot of times people are just not very discerning.
But again, there are so many influencers on social media who may sneak it in or not really do what they're required to do. It's pretty possible for you to miss that or just assume that this is my friend who wants to share the best makeup with me and not really let it sink in that they're getting paid to tell me this is the best makeup or the best food package or the best piece of clothing or whatever.
Yeah, all of that is true. And then sometimes you might look at like how many views a particular post has had and say, oh, well, this has had 5 million views and this person has X number million followers. But some of that could actually be generated by a bot. So not everything is as it seems. Quite frankly, if I were considering a product or a service, whether it's makeup or tennis shoes or some kind of electronics, I'm not going to look on social media to find out which ones to buy. I'm going to talk to friends. I'm going to talk to trusted colleagues. I'm going to talk to people like you, real people, to find out what their experience has been.
Yeah, if I buy something and I know it's reviewed by a reliable source, maybe Consumer Reports or PC Magazine or CNET or something like that, I'll go to reviews from people who are independent and not getting paid as opposed to just looking at reviews or seeing what somebody who I know possibly is getting paid to pitch the product. That's how I make my decisions. Is that how you do yours?
Well, that makes a lot of sense. The whole thing about people who are paid to give reviews, that is now one of the things that's not allowed if it's not disclosed. But, you're always better talking with somebody that you know than all of this anonymous junk online.
Let me ask you personally, if you're about to buy something, do you check reviews and do you look at the stars? Because that's all added up on these reviews. It could be fake. How do you use these things?
Yes, I do look at reviews for most of the things that I buy. It doesn't matter whether it's $2 or $20 or $200, because even the $2 thing, even though it doesn't cost that much money, it may actually be unsafe. And so I don't want to buy that. I mean, I start off with looking at the number of stars. I start off 4.5 is good. That's a starting point. If it's like 3 out of 5, nope, I'm out. If it's only got like 17 reviews, nope, that's not enough, I'm out. But then if it passes those two things and then I start reading the reviews, I usually look at the negative reviews first. And sometimes the negative reviews would be like, oh, hey, this thing took 2 weeks to get to me and it was too late to give it as a gift. So that's a legitimate issue, but it doesn't necessarily speak to the quality of the product. So I kind of toss that aside. But I also read if there are a lot of people who are just like hopping up and down mad. Sometimes you'll see people say, I gave this 1 star only because I couldn't give it 0. And here's why.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you read a lot of those, again, we have so much choice on the marketplace. So if I read a handful of just really scathing reviews about a product, I'm moving on. I have other choices. And again, if it only has a handful of reviews, that I can count on my fingers and toes, that's not a good enough number of reviews to use to evaluate what could be either what's good for my wallet, what's good for my health. And if it's a super expensive product, if it's like a new television or an appliance, I'll obviously do more research there. I'll look at multiple sources. If I'm going to buy a television at Best Buy, I'm going to look at reviews for that television also at other stores, Target and so forth, because that way I'm getting a fuller picture.
That's some really good advice. Teresa, thank you. Teresa Murray is the consumer watchdog at US PIRG. They're online at PIRG, PIRG.org, and you will find a link to her tips on how to read reviews in the show notes of this podcast. Teresa, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
Here's something else you might want to do. Use FakeSpot, an app and browser extension that's now part of the Mozilla family of trusted web tools. Go to fakespot.com. FakeSpot's algorithms analyze patterns in online reviews to identify the ones that are more likely to be untrustworthy. It then adjusts the rating and provides you with review highlights, pros and cons, price history, and alternative products from reputable brands. Before we go, let me share a few other Consumerpedia episodes you might want to check out. Number 36, Dark Patterns, Sales Tactics Designed to Deceive. Number 49, Shop Like a Pro, Checkbook's Top Shopping Tips. And number 58, Misleading Marketing That Gets You to Buy Now and Pay More. A lot of great information and good listening there for you. And with that, we come to the end of this episode. We hope you'll rate it for us. Checkbook does value honest reviews. Remember, you can follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. We release new episodes every other Thursday. Another way you can support this show is to follow us on Consumerpedia on Facebook and Instagram, and at My Consumerpedia on X, formerly Twitter. I'm Herb Weisbaum. Thanks for listening.
Consumerpedia is a public service of Checkbook.org. We're a unique nonprofit that helps you save money and make smarter choices. You can count on Checkbook to help you find the best services and avoid the worst, with local ratings that are accurate and unbiased. If you live in or around these 7 cities and haven't joined Checkbook yet, check us out. Boston, Chicago, Philadelphia, Seattle, San Francisco, Minneapolis-St. Paul, and Washington, D.C. To get your free 30-day subscription, go to checkbook.org/Consumerpedia. If you like what you've heard, we hope you'll become a supporter by using the link at the bottom of the show notes to make a small contribution each month. Consumerpedia, empowering consumers to save money and make smarter choices.